Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, so today we're tackling something pretty mind-blowing. Neurogenesis.
Ooh, yeah, I've been looking forward to this one.
Me too. It's all about whether adults can actually grow new brain cells.
Right, like for the longest time we were told that wasn't possible.
Exactly. But we've got this excerpt from pasted text, and it's saying, hold on, maybe that's not the whole story. So we're going to dig into that today and see what's what.
Sounds fascinating.
Totally. But before we go too far, let's make sure everyone's on the same page. So what exactly is neurogenesis?
Okay, so neurogenesis, it's basically the birth of new neurons.
Neurons, those are the messengers in our brains, right?
Yeah, exactly. They transmit information throughout the nervous system, and neurogenesis is the process of making more of them.
And this is happening like all the time.
Well, it happens throughout our lives, but it's especially active in certain brain regions in adults.
Like where?
One key area is the hippocampus. That part of the brain that's super important for learning and memory.
Yeah, the memory center. So is it like constantly creating new cells related to learning?
Pretty much. And that's what makes adult neurogenesis so important.
I can see why. But so how does this all tie into like brain plasticity? I've heard that term before, but
Right. Well, brain plasticity is basically the brain's ability to change and adapt based on our experiences.
okay, so like the more we learn, the more our brains can rewire themselves.
Exactly. And neurogenesis plays a big role in that. It's like adding fresh building blocks.
Wow. So if we can actually grow new brain cells, does that mean we can get smarter as we age?
Well, it's not quite that simple, but it definitely means our brains are more dynamic than we once thought.
That's still pretty amazing. Okay, so I got to ask the big question. How do we like boost neurogenesis? Is it all brain games and puzzles?
Well, mental stimulation is good, but there are other things that have a much bigger impact.
Really? Like what?
Exercise is huge. Studies show that regular physical activity, especially aerobic exercise, can significantly increase neurogenesis.
So hitting the gym isn't just good for our bodies, it's good for our brains too.
Absolutely. And it makes sense, when we exercise, we increase blood flow and oxygen to the brain, which creates a more favorable environment for those new neurons to grow.
Makes sense. Okay, so exercise is in. What about diet? Does that play a role?
There's definitely a connection, but the research is still ongoing. Some studies suggest that foods rich in flavonoids, like berries and dark chocolate, might have a positive effect.
Ooh, berries and chocolate. I can get behind that. But I guess more research is needed.
Yeah, there's still a lot we don't know about the specifics.
Okay, fair enough. So we've got exercise, maybe chocolate, anything we should avoid, things that might actually hurt neurogenesis.
Well, chronic stress is a big one. When we're constantly stressed, our bodies produce hormones that can actually inhibit neurogenesis.
So stress is bad for our brains in like a very real way.
Exactly. It creates a toxic environment that makes it harder for new brain cells to survive and thrive.
This is all making me rethink how I manage my stress levels.
Yeah.
But okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about the future of neurogenesis research? Like, where do we go from here?
Well, the potential applications are really exciting. Scientists are exploring ways to harness neurogenesis to treat brain diseases.
Oh, wow. Like what?
Think Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, even traumatic brain injuries. If we can figure out how to stimulate neurogenesis in a targeted way, we might be able to repair damaged brain tissue.
That's incredible. So we're talking about potentially reversing the effects of these diseases.
Potentially, yes. It's
Yeah.
still early days, but the possibilities are huge.
I can see why this is such a hot topic.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, it sounds like we really can grow new brain cells, even as adults. And we have some control over this process through lifestyle choices like exercise and stress management.
Exactly. It's empowering to know that we're not just stuck with the brain we were born with.
Right. Our brains are constantly changing and adapting.
Yeah.
So what's like one small change you think our listeners could make today to, maybe boost their own neurogenesis?
That's a good question. Maybe just taking a 20-minute walk. Even that small bit of exercise could make a difference.
Absolutely.
But,
Or maybe swapping that afternoon coffee for a handful of berries.
ooh, good one. And don't forget about stress management. Even a few minutes of meditation can go a long way.
So true. Well, this has been an amazing deep dive into the world of neurogenesis. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
And for our listeners, keep those brains buzzing. We'll see you next time.
See ya.